As you can see over here, it's been good one after the rebound from the 50 DMA around 21,700 from March. Nifty has moved a bit higher from there and it has scaled new high. So last Monday, Nifty made a new high and crossed its previous all-time high, which was made in Feb, and hence we changed the market status to a confirmed uptrend. And since then, the market has been a bit sideways to positive momentum, I can say. There's no major negative momentum, but it's very gradually moving. And we are comfortable with it because it is holding the key moving averages. So after, a good 400, 500, 600 points rally, if the market moves sideways and consolidates in a very narrow range without breaching key moving average on a relatively low volume, so we are comfortable with it. That's a good sign. So no, the rally can resume from there. And yesterday, the opening was really good, but the gains were not able to hold. But if you look at in today's session, again, the opening was good. The day was a bit volatile, but the closing was a decent. Though not at a new high, it was not able to cross the fresh all-time high, but overall the closing was good. So now let's see on Friday how the thing goes, because tomorrow is a holiday, and we are trading almost 2% above 21 DMA. So even if we get to a small correction, we might, end up coming close to 22,300 level. And 50 DMA is also almost 2.8%. That is around 22,100. So that is very crucial support as far as the current April series is concerned. And on the flip side, we are already in the blue sky zone. So no major resistance on the higher side. But if you can see, uh, the Tuesday's action, like there was a sign of a bit reversal. So after opening at a fresh high, you saw that it quickly went down, and it was almost 150 points from the high that it went down. So you want to cross that high as soon as possible. So in the Friday session, the focus will be on to cross the 22,768. And on the flip side, the 21 DMA is a good support for the current series. So distribution day count is quite low. It's only at 2, so we are comfortable over there. Someone, if you don't know about the distribution day, it's 0.2% loss on Nifty, and volume should be higher than previous session. So these are the two conditions: 0.2% loss and volume higher than previous session. So that indicates weakness in the market if the number is high. But now it is just down to 2 and we are at all-time high. So it's a good time for to be in the market. Even if you see the in the mid caps, there was a good correction, but now again it has reclaimed the fresh highs. Here you can see. So it made a low around in the first half of the March, and even like it dipped again on March 20, and from there you can see the momentum has been really good and volume action was is also strong, and the mid cap index is trading near its fresh high. Even if you look at the small cap index, here also the momentum is quite intact again, and that is also making the index is also near its fresh all-time high. So it has rebounded well. Around 14,000 का low बनाया था, वहां से फिर से like within 3 weeks we are again back to 16,500. So that shows the strength in the market. Only thing to note over here, as far as the small cap index is, the action has been a relatively low volume. We want something like this. ये जो accumulation हुआ था, ऐसा कुछ accumulation चाहिए था. But broadly अगर देखें तो गिरते वक्त भी इतना volume नहीं था. तो it that's not a major issue. अगर यहाँ पे गिरते टाइम volume आया होता and now the volume when it went higher इतना low होता, then that was a sign of weakness in the market. But that is not the case. Even like in the February, March, when there was a correction, the volume was relatively lower, and the same thing happened now. So no major issues as far as the indexes, the benchmark indexes are concerned. The broader indexes are concerned. Both are doing quite well. If you look at some of the key indexes on the sectorial front, okay, like the Bank Nifty, one of the major constituent of Nifty, It made a fresh high today, and the index made a is at a new high. So like that is positive for the market when the bank nifty is leading the pack, and that's what has happened, especially after the rebound from 50 DMA on March 20. So action has been really good, and the volume action is also good. So we are even the bank nifty is at a blue sky zone. And if you look for the support, then 21 DMA over here is around 3.5% from the current level. So quite positive overall. The results season is about to start, and I think that's what needs to be observed. Okay, so mainly if you see the bigger banks like HDFC, Kotak, so last quarter का जो result था उसमें net interest margins का थोड़ा issue बाहर आ रहा था. तो deposit growth और credit growth के बीच में एक gap आ गया था कि credit growth was high and growth was a bit low. So वहां से एक pressure built up हुआ था. But if you look at the updates, इस बार का अगर अपडेट देखे सारी बैंक्स का, whether it's private or the PSU bank, the updates have been really good, and that's what has driven the rally this time. So it looks like the result might come out a decent one, but then also the further management commentary for FY25 and how the overall margins are staked up for the especially large private banks, that becomes crucial to watch out for the banking stocks, and that will impact the bank nifty. If you look at FMCG index, this has been the quiet one. Actually, it is moving sideways below its 50 DMA, just near its 200 DMA, and has not at all participated in the rally. I think this is the second time it has not. Okay, only once I think it participated in the recent time, twice. So firstly, like from the April low last year to July, it had participated, then it had moved sideways. Then again, it made a high in January, but since January, it is moving up on the lower side and now moving sideways. So I think if we reclaim 50 DMA strongly over here, and we see this recent high of around 54,900 around, अगर 55,000 के ऊपर जाता है, then we might see a good momentum in the FMCG stocks as well. Still, subdued demand from the rural economy, there is not much pickup over there, and that's what hurting the FMCG stocks. That's hurting the volume growth, and particularly, they are not able to pick up in the margins. Now, if you look at the auto, one of the top gainers of the last year, and I think consistently doing well, all the key auto stocks, and participating, not only participating in all the rallies, but leading most of the rallies. So the Nifty Auto trading near the fresh new high. The numbers have been good for the last month. All the major companies have delivered a good growth in the number. I think the new phase of growth through electric vehicles, through hybrid vehicles in the coming year is getting priced in. So a lot of new launches are expected in 2024 from most of the brands. And I think even the market scenario in the auto industry is changing. Okay, so as of now, you see in the recent times, the Mahindras and the Tatas, they are selling every one car out of the total four cars sold. Okay, so now they are having around 25-30% of market share, which was not there 2-3 years back. So the landscape is changing. The overall demand scenario is changing. The new players, not the new players, but the veterans are back into the game. So the place is, the auto sector as a whole is doing quite well. Ancillaries are picking up, not as far as they have given return as OEMs, but now it looks like the way the formation is in the most of the ancillaries, they have started to pick up. Now, if you look at the realty, this yeah. So realty is also trading at a new high. The updates have been very good. Look at the Godrej. Godrej ka update was superb. Like it's in a bull run. All the realty stocks, the way the demand of housing is, the way their projects are getting sold out. Okay, the new projects lined up. Everything is perfect. If you look at the DL, the Godrej properties, I think all the organized players are doing really, really well in this space, and that's what getting reflected. I think the realty is the only sector that has given better return than the autos. Okay, so most of the realty stocks are doing really well, and it is not like it is losing the stream because if you look at the updates this time also the Q4 updates were really good. So the entire FY24 result will be excellent for the realty companies, and that's what I think might carry as we move into the new quarter. So I think let's take one sector more, Nifty IT, and then we go to your queries. And if in between, if we require us to discuss about some groups, we will surely do that. So yes, again, the ITs are under pressure, not able to, perform in this current momentum in the market. If you see, it is trading below its key moving average 21 or 50K नीचे trade कर रहा है. So FMCG and IT, these two have been lagging in the current rally, while the banks, the NBFCs, the autos, the realty, these are the stocks, the metals. How can we forget that? The metals, these are the leading one in the this rally. We need some time in IT to reclaim its 21 and 50 DMA, but once it is above that level, I think the result season will start with those guys. Uh, as we see that there is a good momentum in the result. If the outlook is good for FY24, then I think we might see that the index reclaiming 21 and 50 DMA, and we see good momentum in the leading stocks. Okay, so now let's open the floor for the questions. So in the room, we have my colleague Vakar and our head of research, Mr. Mayuresh Joshi. We will try to answer as many questions as possible. And please do not repeat the question multiple times because as this is the live session, we need to scroll back and answer. So just post it once. We will try to answer it all. Even our new team member Tanmay has joined, who will be observer today. We'll be trying to learn the way we conduct these sessions.
Rishit, Vakarya, I'll start with queries.
Sure.
Can you give me Indigo please? Thank you. So overall, if you look at this, the stock is a laggard at this moment in the market. As you can see, the RS is pretty weak. RS line is trending downwards. The stock is clearly above some of its key moving averages, which is not a good sign. Fundamentals in terms of the EPS ratings is good, but at this moment, what you require for um, outperformance with relative to Nifty or with relative to any particular index is how does your RS is working out, or how is your stock faring with respect to the market. So that is not good, majorly because of the poor price trend and the poor buyer demand as well. Why buyer demand is going down? Because whenever the stock is falling, the stock is falling on higher volumes, which is not a good sign. And whenever probably look at it, whenever the stock breached its certain key moving averages, it breached on above average volume. Just now it retook its 21 DMA, but as you can see, there was no volumes there. Volumes was 50% lower than average. So not a good sign for the stock. And if someone is holding, should have exited out when probably at least the 50 DMA got breached or maybe the 200 DMA got breached. Re-entry into the stock at this moment is not looking good. So let's wait for the stock to probably make another base. Let the RS line start moving there. Let some accumulation come in. Post that, we can have a look at this stock. The next we can go is HCC, then Aarti Industries. Thank you. So, yes, the stock definitely had a good breakout. And if can you show me the stage count? The breakout stage count? Fine. So it was a stage three. So even if someone would have bought it, can continue to hold so. I mean, at this moment, the stock is good, 39% from the pivot. So new entry into the stock is not advised. Even an alternate entry is not advised because the reclaim happened on lower volume. So kind of, I mean, not a good sign, but still, if someone is holding from the pivot, can continue to hold because price strength of 85 is very good. Buyer demand is very good. RS line has again started to move higher, which is a very good sign. Fund holding is increasing, I mean, around 20% quarter on quarter, which is a very good sign. So keep this, you can, one, someone is holding can continue to hold the stock. I mean, but keep an eye on the 50 DMA, the 21 DMA. I mean, during the last time when the stock found support, it was near the 21 and the 50 DMA prior to this selling. Yeah. Yeah, as you can see, what Rushil is trying to point out is to 21 and the 50 DMA is where. So even this time, if some selling comes in, maybe the green line is where it can find support. And Maybe on the weekly, maybe the 10 year, the 10 WM is where last time it had found support is around the 29.09 levels is what I feel like. So you can continue to hold, but have a keen eye on the key moving averages. Aarti industry. So the stock broke out today, as one can see, and it was a good breakout. RS line hitting blue dot, that is it is touching new highs, which is a really good sign. But the only thing that has been a drag on this stock from the techno funda perspective is the fundamentals at this moment. If you look at not just the EPS strength, but the what Rushit is trying to point out, the last three-quarter results has not been good. So even if the rating is not good, if there is some kind of acceleration, some kind of momentum in the last three-quarter result, then at least it provides you some kind of comfort going ahead with the stock. Not just look at pure technicals, but have a blend of techno funda where you know that the probability of one going wrong becomes very less. So even fund holding is not increasing that well. If at this moment someone would have bought a position into the stock, can continue to hold since the breakout was good and can keep an ideal stop loss of 7 to 8% or trail it with the 21 DM. Shida, over to you.
Thanks. Next, I'll take emphasis. So yes, as I was discussing about the IT, so last 1.5 month have not been good for the index, but and similar things had happened in emphasis. So if you can see after the breakout from stage 3C and the base pattern flat base, the breakout failed the very next day, and it started moving lower and breached its 21 as well as the 50-day moving average, and from there it went down to test its 200 DM. अभी 200 पे support मिल रहा है. So if someone is still holding, like ideally the exit should be around 2050 breach. Okay, but if someone is still holding, can use 200 DMA as a stop loss according to O'Neill methodology. And I think if it reclaims 50 DMA, which is around 2550 on a decent volume, then we might see that stock might rally up again. And that's what looks over here. The fundamentals have been good. Revenue is not that strong growth over here. It's been very flat to negative growth, but the stock is able to, have this earning momentum. And plus, the story is good. Like if you look at their exposure in the computer programming and the other tech services, that has been good. But let's see, you need to deliver a good result this time. And if the estimates for FY24, the guidance remains strong, we might see a reversal in the stock. But till then, you need to be very careful. There's a question on Apar Industries. Disclaimer that this stock is part of our watch list. Okay, so this the stock was added on March 26 when it gave a very strong breakout. So there was a really good breakout. If you can see, volume भी बहुत अच्छा था breakout के time. The price action was good. The volume action was really good. If you look at the ratings, top-notch ratings, ठीक है, fund holdings increase हो रहा है, ROE of 29. The earnings have been consistently good. Okay, and the sector, the power sector, the electronic equipments that this is a supporting for a power sector, the power industries work, and that's been doing really well. The way India's power demand is growing, the way we are increasing the capacity of renewables, non-renewables, that's excellent, and that's what behind the growth story of our industry. So if someone is holding, they can continue to hold. Use 50 DM as a stop loss, and if fresh entry not suggested here, as it is already 10% up from the pivot. So ideally, not a good time to enter fresh. So if there is a pullback and rebound from 21 or 50 DMA, तो वहां पे आप एक fresh entry कर सकते हैं. Okay, next Tata Chemical, Abuja Cement. Okay, okay. So Tata Chemical, uh, there was a very strong action in the first week of March. So very rare to see such thing in a stock like Tata Chemical, such a great momentum. So after that strong momentum, that was, I think, morely due to some news as well about the Tata Sons and all those things. But then there was a sharp fall in the stock, 10% down on one day, then again 5-6% down other day, and then again it tested its 200 DMA. So that there was a huge volatility in Tata stock, which is rare. But then again it rebounded from the 200 DMA, and now it is very close to its pivot. Like it is almost in the buy zone, 0 to 5%, and the accumulation is also good. So this time around, it's not only the company-wise news base, but the soda ash price, the chemical as a whole is getting a good is coming into a rally. It looks like, and the price of soda ash has also increased, and that's what impacting the stock price, and it is moving higher. If you look at the number of fund holdings, that is down, and fundamentally it is not able to pick up. The EPS is very inconsistent. There is a degrowth over there, and they are not able to report a good sales number as well. The ratings are also poor. EPS rating is 17, price trend खराब है. ठीक है, buyer demand थोड़ी अच्छी है due to such volatility and some accumulation here. But broadly, there are few other counters where you can focus, which are having a good setup in the current market scenario.
Thanks, Roshan. Uh, I'll start with queries. Can you give me SBI card? Thank you. So currently, as you can see, the stock is not in momentum apart from the last few days. I mean, the recent highs that it had made of 933, it has corrected more than 20-25% from there and is trading below the 200 DMA at this moment. Overall, from the rating perspective as well, price strength at 20 and buyer demand at C plus is definitely not a good sign. The stock is trying to take an up move, as one can see, has reclaimed the 21 and the 50 DMA. But still, a lot of work is yet to do. Overall, even the fundamentals have started to improve in the last couple of quarters. One more negative sign is that the fund holding for the stock is declining quarter on quarter, which is not a good sign. So let's wait at this moment. Fresh entry into the stock is definitely not advised. Let the stock make a base, a fresh new base with some good accumulation going forward. And even price strength of 20 will not be good. So let that also move higher. Let the RS line move higher. Once that happens, can definitely have a look at the stock. Let's avoid bottom fishing at this moment. Next, Ambuja Cement. Thank you. So the stock definitely had a very good breakout as what Rushit is trying to point out and is trading 17% above the pivot. So fresh entry into the stock is definitely not advised, but someone who's able to buy the stock near the pivot did a very good job. As you can see, most of the boxes were ticking for the stock at the point in breakout, like once a rebreakout happened, RS line was making new highs. Buy demand was very good. EPS strength of 86 very good. Fund holding is increasing. So most checkbox were getting ticked. So overall, as you can see, there is a good push in the infra and the real estate segment as well. And that is probably uh, has led to a demand-led push for the cement makers as well, such as Ambuja Cement. So one can easily trail the stop loss to last time it found support at 550 levels around the 50 DMA. So can keep 50 DMA as a trailing stop loss. So and if that gets breached on above average volumes, yeah, definitely think about exiting the stock. The next would be just a second. CMS Info and CAMS. The breakout for the stock was not successful. As you can see, it tried to break out but went back into the base. And price strength and buyer demand is also not good. Overall, the what's probably supporting the stock is the fundamentals and the fund holding. So again, the stock is trying to re-break out. So let's wait if the re-breakout is successful, and that too on some good volume bars coming in, because even the buyer demand has kind of deteriorated because of on some selling pressure happen on the right hand side of the stock. So let's wait. Some kind of technical improvement still needs to happen with the stock. Once that happens, then can definitely have a look at this stock. The other can be CAMS. So the stock has definitely come back in the ideal buy range, as one can see, 2% from pivot at this moment, and the stock found support near the 2150 DMA. Definitely, but some counters have kind of deteriorated as the price strength of 53, buyer demand or C is definitely not good, and it's kind of consolidating or being very volatile between the 10% mark above the pivot and just below the 50 DMA. You can see it's kind of being very volatile in that background. So what probably we can suggest is that if someone wants to take a view in the camps at this moment, can take it on their own discretion, considering their long-term fundamentals support the stock, because there is still some kind of technical hitch within the stock. If that was not there, things would have been little different. But still, the discretion remains on you guys, as the stock is in the ideal buy range. And if someone would have bought it at the earlier breakout, I mean, can still continue to hold. And if you would have not been shaken out during the sellout when the stock reached 2707, and apart from that, as you can see, the stock has always found support near the 50 DMA. So yeah, if someone wants to make a fresh entry or already has a position with the stock, then can definitely keep 50 DMA as their stop losses going forward. So pivot is the ideal buy point. It's the highest point of the base. So what Rishit is trying to point out is whenever you go to a base, click on the base, you can see the pivot. For this stage one company, the pivot was 2988. That is the previous high that is usually for most bases. And the ideal buy range is from the pivot to 5%, mostly 0 to 5%, or in rare cases, 0 to 7% as well.
Thanks, Okan. I'll take IEX. So currently it is forming a stage 1B double bottom base. So it's good. Like the current setup looks interesting. So the fundamentals have been consistent over here. The good growth in EPS as well as the revenue. Fund holding is increasing. The EPS strength is good. The problem is a bit price strength. But I think if we complete this right side of the base and gives a good breakout, price strength might improve. And it has improved, see, over the last few days. Buyer demand C plus a bit fair. Here also it needs to improve. Overall, I think if someone is holding the stock, then they can continue to hold the stock as of now and keep the 50 DMA, the red line over here, which is somewhere around 143.4 as a stop loss. If you want to take fresh entry, wait for a breakout. ठीक है तो इसका breakout है 158.5. Okay, so once it moves above this 158.5 on a higher volume, it's ideal time to enter the stock according to O'Neill setup. But if someone is holding currently, continue to hold and use a 50 DMA as a stop loss. Otherwise यहाँ भी स्टोरी काफी अच्छी है IEX में भी. The way there is increasing trading of energy, and as the prices also increases, the volume will increase for the IEX. Okay, next I can take is TCI, Transport Corporation of India. So here also it looks like it has formed a bottom. And there was a sharp correction, and after breaching its 200 DMA, it remained below 200 DMA for a few sessions, and then it is reclaimed. And now again, it is trying to form the right side of the base. Not a good time to enter the stock at all. Wait for some momentum over here. A lot of other counters doing well in the current market, so don't be behind such one. But if you are already holding, if you are holding since long, and if you want to get idea what to do, then I think the 50 DMA or the 200 DMA, these are the two levels you need to watch out for. If the stock breaches its key moving averages again, then I think that's the ideal time when you exit the stock. Otherwise, the earnings momentum has not been that strong. The revenue growth has been very slow, 2 to 5% growth broadly, and there is no major buying from the funds in the recent quarter in this stock. Okay, Jubilant Food. So this stock is trading below all the key moving averages. It just reclaimed its 21 DMA and now trying its best to hold that level. अभी यहाँ पे stage 1 का जो breakout हुआ था उसके बाद ये fail हो गया था in December, and since then there has been continuous selling. Even if you look at the volume during the selling, the volume was quite high when the stock was getting sold, and now it is trying to recover. थोड़ा volume आ रहा है recovery में भी upper side में. But broadly, if you see, it is not able to deliver the earnings. Neither the fund is increasing the stakes. Okay, ROE is decent, not a problem, 17%, but it is down from what it was. Earnings, sales momentum भी थोड़ा low है, 3 to 5%. So there's no key driver as of now. Well, there is a lot of intensity in the competition also. The inflation is a bit high, so to compete with inflation as well as competition is not a ideal time for the stocks like the food stocks like Jubilee and Foodworks. So let's see, I think what it delivers during this quarter और FY25 का क्या forecast रहता है, and if it can reclaim its 50 and 200 DMA, यहाँ पे कहीं अगर fresh base बनाता है और इस बार एक अच्छा रिजल्ट डिलीवर करता है, then I think the focus should be over here. कि फिर अगर वो ब्रेकआउट होता है then you should watch out for it. But as of now, try to avoid if holding. Then you may use some stop loss. The recent low can be used as the stop loss. I'll take CESC. A good setup. It is forming the right side of the cup base. Okay, so there was a strong momentum over here. I think this stock was part of our model portfolio, and we have booked a very good profit in this zone. Okay, and then it is now consolidating and formed a cup base pattern. It has reclaimed its 50 DMA, and looks like, see, generally whenever such cups are getting formed, if it is very strong momentum, if something comes up, then it might give a quick breakout. Otherwise, generally यहाँ पे एक छोटा सा handle बन जाता है, cup with handle, and then the breakout process starts. So let's see what happens over here. Otherwise, the story for CESC is quite good. The power sector, the demand in the power, and their presence is very strong, especially in the Kolkata region. And if we look at the fund holding that is increasing, the revenue is gradually increasing. EPS एक दो क्वार्टर से इतना बड़ा नहीं है, बट consolidated basis पे काफी अच्छा EPS growth है यहाँ पे भी. So broadly, you need to wait for a breakout to get a fresh entry. If already holding the stock, no worries, it's in a good shape. Watch out for 50 DMA, which is somewhere around 129 as a stop loss level. Waka, you taking? Okay, I'll take one more. GR Infra. Here, if you see, like the earnings have not been that great for GR Infra. Number of fund holding has increased, so the way the infrastructure focused by the government and the spending over there will definitely benefit the stocks like GR Infra. But it is still moving sideways and not able to give a clear breakout. एक बार breakout अभी दिया था, but अभी struggle कर रहा है. Again, there was a high volume selling for 3-4 consecutive sessions, and it looks like last couple of days it is trying to hold, but fundamentally still needs an improvement, as well as the technicals improvement needed. So I think it should be avoided as of now according to O'Neill methodology. But if holding the stock, then you can use 50 DMA as a stop loss, and don't lose more than 7-8% of your invested capital in particular stock, because that will ultimately harm your net capital. So it's always better to exit the stock with small losses and hold it when with the big profits. What are you available, or should I continue?
Okay. Is KEI done?
No.
So give me KEI then Ranko Systems. Thank you. So the setup and everything looks very good. As you can see, the stock is kind of making new highs every day, and continuous blue dots are happening. The first breakout kind of was unsuccessful for the stock, and the rebreakout has been good. And Currently the stock is trading 11% over pivot at this moment. So someone who bought near and the rebreakout can continue to hold because overall the EPS trend, price trend, buyer demand continues to be very good. Fund holding for the stock has consistently been increasing, and even as you can see, the last three-quarter results have been very good for the stock. And fresh entry into the stock is not advised, but one can definitely trail the 21 or the 51 DMA for the stop loss levels. And uh, uh, considering the overall setup definitely looks good for the stock. Next can be Ramco system. System was the query. Stock had a circuit, as you can see, in a 20% upward circuit, and the volumes was also very good for the stock, but it was just one day. And overall, I mean, the stock has been very volatile. Price strength of 27 is not that great, and even EPS strength. I mean, ideally, someone would have bought near the lows or even at the previous, or near the pivot as well, and can continue to hold because today was a very, very good session for the stock and can continue to hold, probably keeping the 50 DMA as the trailing stop loss level. And ideally, new entry into the stock at this moment is definitely noted. Rushit, can you take some queries?
Sure. Let me take Jindal Steel. So after breakout from a stage 1 dip base, the momentum has been really good in the Jindal Steel along with the other metal stocks. If you can see over here, the red line, the 50 DMA is constantly giving a good support to the stock. And if you see, the sales growth is not that good, but the earnings momentum has started to come. The profitability has increased. The buyer demand is excellent. The EPS strength is good. Price trend is improving. So in fact, there's are blue dots, means the RS is at a new high, new 52-week high. So it is 17% extended from the pivot. So fresh entry is not suggested in the stock, but you can always watch out for a fresh base formation as of now. If you're already holding the stock, maybe the 50 or 21 DMA, 50 to be very strong support over here, you can watch out for that. And fresh entry, according to O'Neill, is not suggested over here. Next, we can take is there's some other question. What is defined as stage one and so on the fourth? Sandeep has a question. So see, stage one is the first base any stock makes, and then after the breakout, when the stock is up more than 20%, okay. Let's say this is the breakout, and if the stock is up more than 20%, and then it makes fresh base over here, okay, then you term it as a stage two. एक बार 20% pivot से 20% ऊपर जाने के बाद जो भी बेस बनता है, that is the stage two base, okay. Now in second scenario is like this. यहाँ पे ब्रेकआउट हुआ और फिर से 20% से कम गेन के पहले ही स्टेज बनना शुरू हो गया, ठीक है. तो दिस गोज अल्फाबेटिकली, 1A 1B 1C ऐसा. But if it goes 20%, then it goes numerically 1 2 3 ऐसे. So This is brief about the base, but otherwise, if you want to learn more, you can always search on Google MarketSmith India base count learning article, or you can have a learning article in the learn section over here, and you can learn more through that. Now let's take one cooling query, Blue Star in the hot summer. Uh, Very good momentum, I think, since August, the stock has given a very good return. It is almost double. ये 700 का 1400 हो गया है. From if you look from the rebound from the 200 DMA in August. So see, this has formed a stage 3 base. This is what I was talking. ये stage 2 भी था. Okay. ये 2A, इसके बाद 2B बना. अब उसके बाद 20% से ज्यादा स्टॉक चला तो this base which was formed in the December January was termed stage 3. Okay, and the stock is already up 37 from that stage 3 base and in a very good uptrend. Plus the fund holding has been uh, constant, like there's no major change, but yeah, overall broadly it is positive. The earnings momentum has increased for the Blue Star. Even the sales is increasing. The ROE of 29 is really good. So overall it's well placed. If someone is holding, you should continue to hold it till 50 DMA is intact. On the flip side, fresh entry at this high is not suggested. Even like it's it's the air season for the summer. But broadly, Blue Star का कैसा है पता है? That is more in the infra space. Blue Star is more in the infra space, and the way the government focus on infrastructure is, so that's what will benefit more for the Blue Star. So fresh entry over here not suggested. If holding, can continue. What are you taking? Okay, KSB, if you look at this one, so it today gave a breakout from a stage 3 cup base. Looks like a strong breakout. The volume has been really good. Okay, and it's in a good sector, like manufacturing of pumps, compressor, taps, valves, etc. The number of funds have increased in the stock. Uh, Good increase, in fact, 15%. If you can see, the sales growth has been really good. Even the EPS growth has been good, bearing this December quarter. So over here, there was a cup base formation. Okay, the momentum was good after the stage 2 breakout. 50 DMA काफी strong है. देखो हर बार ये 50 DMA पे रुक जाता है. यहाँ पे एक बार breach हुआ था, but it quickly regained from there. So I think if someone has bought it today, then you can use 7 to 8% as a stop loss. And the stock is trading in the ideal buy zone. So if you have your own research or advice from your investor, then the stock is in the ideal buy zone according to O'Neill methodology. The fundamentals as well as the technical strengths are really good for this stock.
Ruchita, I'll take some queries. Uh, NCC is not done, right? NCC and VBL. So as one can see, NCC had a very good breakout. Even it was part of disclaimer. It was part of a model portfolio as well. We had a good ride with NCC, and currently the stock is trading 57% above pivot, and overall price trend buyer demand is good. EPS trend is slightly on the lower side, mainly because of slightly volatile earnings for the September quarter. As you can see, the EPS kind of dragged down, and that had a negative effect on the overall EPS rating for the stock. Um, the reclaim on the 21 DMA or the bounce back from the 21 DMA was very good on above average volumes. So if someone is holding the stock, can continue to hold. The stock has majorly found support at its 50 DMA or near the 50 DMA at this moment. And so, considering 50 DMA to be your ideal stop loss levels, can definitely trail the 50 DMA and continue to hold the stock. And if the stock reaches 50 DMA significantly on above average volumes, then can definitely exit the stock. But if someone have bought the stock, is sitting on very good gains and can continue to hold the stock till key levels are not breached. The next will be VBL. Very good stock. The stock has been just been in up one way upward trajectory for all these years. But what Rushid is trying to point out is the stock is making a stage 6B base, and stage 4 and higher bases are always prone to failure. Very few stocks are able to march ahead from a very late stage base. And as you can see, as the stock is forming, a very late stage base at this moment. Momentum in the stock is kind of dwindling. Buyer demand is coming down. Price strength is coming down from the stock. So anytime probably the stock can correct, and there can be some kind of rebasing in terms of the stock, the base pattern to happen. So let that happen once. If that happens and the stage count gets reset, can definitely be a very good stock to watch out for. If someone is holding the stock from a very earlier levels, can continue to hold, probably keeping the 50 DMA as their stop loss level, because during the entire rally, 50 DMA was hardly breached for 1 or 2 days. Apart from that, it has continued to hold the 50 DMA. Look around the action around the 50 DMA. If 50 DMA gets breached, because definitely exit out of the stock, because considering you would have bought the stock at a very lower level, uh, can exit out at this moment. And when probably the base count gets reset, uh, at that moment, can definitely have a re-entry into the stock if your uh, thesis, your investment thesis, and the fundamentals is suggesting you to do so. Rushid, we can take a couple of queries and then wrap up the session. It's 5:27.
Sure. I'll take in Petro. Okay, so stock had a very good run after breakout from a stage one cup base. In fact, from the level of around 300, it went around to almost double हो गया था stock broadly देखो ना तो breakout के बाद. And since like making high in February, it is going a bit lower and it had breached its 50 DMA now. And today the price volume action was really good, and it looks like it is going towards reclaiming its 50 DMA. So once it reclaims the 50 DMA, that gives you an alternate entry point if the reclaim is on a very high volume. So यहाँ पे एक alternate entry point मिलेगा, but अभी के लिए entry at this level is not suggested. If you are holding the stock, then I think this 443 अभी का जो recent low है, that can be used as a stop loss level, and fresh entry can be taken above 500 if you have your own research or you have an advisor to guide you. If you look at the EPS has improved well. Sales थोड़ा constant है. Number of funds बढ़ चुके हैं stocks में. Overall, it's in a good shape. The demand is good. I think the बीच में जो ये crude oil का भाव नीचे था, petrol consistently, the fuel price was at high with crude oil at a bit lower range. So that has what helped the HPCL, BPCL, and the companies like the OMC, the companies to gain a better margin, and that's what get reflected in the chart. So if we take Bata India and DLF, last two queries for the day. So Bata is trading below its all the key moving averages and not able to perform well in this market. So ideally, it's good to avoid such stocks in a very good market. where the entire market is moving higher, and these are the stocks that are underperforming. So don't go with the laggards as of now. Looks like it might reclaim 50 DMA, where the today's price volume action is. If it does, then you might see that some momentum might build up over here, because the 50 DMA was breached in January, and since after 3 months it is reclaiming the moving average. ओवरऑल ईपीएस अर्निंग्स खराब है, सेल्स ग्रोथ भी वीक है, कुछ है नहीं है, फंड होल्डिंग ऐसे ही पड़ा है. इफ यू लुक एट द ईपीएस ट्रेंड, प्राइस ट्रेंड, सब खराब है. बायर डिमांड ऑफ ई इज वेरी पुअर. ओके, सो आइडियली ट्राई टू अवॉइड. अगर होल्ड कर रहे हो तो नॉट अ गुड आइडिया. कैन यूज रीसेंट लॉक एज स्टॉप लॉस. If you want to buy it, give some time, let the earnings improve, थोड़ा momentum एक बार आ जाए, एक बेस फॉर्मेशन बन जाए, उसके बाद आई थिंक बॉटम फिशिंग थोड़ा कैची लगता है कि भाई चलो बाटा इतना नीचा मिल रहा है, 22% ऑफ है, खरीद लो. बट नॉट अ गुड आइडिया टू गो फॉर बॉटम फिशिंग, बिकॉज इट्स लाइक कैचिंग द फॉलिंग नाइफ. कब लग जाए पता नहीं चलेगा अपने को. तो उससे बेटर है कि गो विद गुड फ्लो, गुड मोमेंटम, गुड ग्रोथ स्टॉक्स दैट आर एबल टू डिलीवर गुड numbers, that are having a good price volume action. Okay, the last for the day, DLF. So as I discussed, I think in the first few minutes only about the real estate sector, the way the projects are coming up, price अच्छा मिल रहा है इनको, सब sold out हो गया, inventory level काफी low है इन लोगों का, and that's what getting reflected in the DLF chart. If you look at this मार्च में 335 के अराउंड था, और अभी 1000 के नजदीक पहुंच गया था बीच में. So it's almost 3x in 1 year, and that's due to the fundamental growth, the way their earnings are improving, the sales growth is there. जो organized player के projects की जो demand है, even the high value projects are getting sold off very fast. You might have seen in the news. So the fund holding has increased. Earnings में अभी भी momentum आना बाकी है, but lot of things got priced in before the earnings came. Okay. And if you look at the ratings, the EPS is good, the price trend, the buyer demand, most of the things are well in place. But बहुत ऊपर है भाई, इसको अभी ओनिल के मेथड से यहाँ पे लेना नॉट एडवाइजेबल. इट इज 118% अप फ्रॉम द पीवट. अगर यहाँ पे एक नया बेस बनाता है और रिजल्ट अच्छा आता है, ब्रेकआउट होता है, देन यू माइट कंसिडर, अदरवाइज नो. यहाँ पे एक एंट्री था, ये 50 डीएमए वाला एंट्री उसने देखो यहाँ पे दिया था. उसके बाद एंट्री नहीं मिला, फिर यहाँ पे एक बार एंट्री मिला था. So again, if it comes to 50 DMA और वहां से rebound होता है, you might consider, but you should be very careful when stock is this high, क्योंकि छोटा सा करेक्शन आएगा 10%, तो जो पहले से होल्ड किया है उनको फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, बट तुमने अगर यहाँ पे लिया है तो तुम्हारा कैपिटल बहुत धुल जाएगा. So you need to be careful for that. And so fresh entry not suggested over here, but you can always watch out for 50 DMA as a stop loss if you are already holding this great growth stock. Okay, guys, so that's it for today's session. Thank you for joining. I hope it was a good learning experience for you guys. So if we missed any query, then please post it to us on the email. We'll try to respond as quickly as possible. I hope it was a learning session for you guys as well, because every time when we conduct these sessions, we do learn something, but it's also important that it's in the benefit of the audience. So thank you for joining the session. Thanks, Sandeep, Suresh, Nilanjan, Ankur, everyone. Thank you, Wilson. Namit, thank you. Okay, so we are closing the session. Moderator, we can end it.